Plan pooling made simple with a new yarn from Premier Yarns. Today we're going to work on the Plaid Fringe scarf with the new Premier Yarns Everyday Plaid. This is a new color pooling yarn and we're going to work on the scarf today. Plan pooling is all the rage to make a beautiful plaid from a variegated yarn. Hi, I'm Kristen Mangus with GoodKnitKisses, and I'm really excited to present to you Premier Yarn's new planned pooling yarn. This is Everyday Plaid, and we are working with 4 colors in here in a variegated yarn that change beautifully to have beautiful new designs. There's all kinds of new colors, so you're going to want to click on the link to get yours. Today I will be working on the plaid fringe scarf in the magenta purple plaid, as well as a crochet hook, an I9 5.5 millimeter. And you'll also need scissors and a tapestry needle. To download your pattern, be sure and click on that link in the description. Premier Everyday Plaid has some general notes and tips you should know before you start for a successful plan pooling project. Rather than calling for an exact gauge and specific number of stitches, this pattern adjusts to your own gauge to make plan pooling easier to start. You don't need to go up or down on a hook size, and you don't need to change the stitch type to get the colors in the right place. The colors should shift one stitch either forward or back to get the pooling effect. To be successful, the most important thing is to have consistent gauge throughout the pattern. Now you can achieve that, but letting your tension loosen or tighten mid-project will cause the pooling pattern to change. So I recommend having a project to this side using the same linen stitch pattern we'll use in a solid color so that you can just work out your tension before you begin. Whether you've had a stressful day or a super relaxing day, you can work out your normal gauge, which is your normal tension, and put it down after a few rows and start on your plaid pooling project. All right, let's dive in to start chaining, and we'll have more tips along the way. We'll begin first by making the foundation chain, and we'll be chaining through one whole pattern of color changes. So this is a full repeat of the pattern, and then when we work our first row, that's where we start concentrating on the actual pattern repeat. But when you first start this chain, I'm just referring to one entire color repeat here. So from green to blue to purple to pink on this particular yarn is what I'm going to be concentrating on. Our plan pooling yarn has 4 different colors in it, so we want to choose a spot with a clear color change, such as pink to green. As you can see, this is really easy to see here. So I'm going to begin my slip knot at this pink, and you can of course trim the extra off because you don't know where that one started. It could be in the mid color if you begin right at the beginning. So let's begin here. I'm going to make my slip knot, make it however is easy for you. I wind mine around my finger here, pull the back loop over the front loop and the back loop over again, up and over the tip of my finger, and place my hook in. And then now I'm going to chain until I get to this same color again. So we're just going to chain up consistently. And again, this works with your own gauge, so you'll want to make sure that you're nice and consistent, and this is good practice. So you can see as I begin chaining up, you can see this color change begin. I've got my green, and when you are working through your rows, you're going to pay attention to these color changes a lot. Okay, you can see this blue coming. Okay, so I'm going to count green as my first color change, and then I have my blue. I want you to keep working on this and pause your video when you get to where you have finished with the pink. So when you see one stitch popping up with the green, then you'll be ready. All right, I'll pause your video and I'll see you in a moment. So I've got to my color change, and now we want to single crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook for row 1. So we're going to go down and count 1, 2, 3. Remember, what's on the hook does not count. So we're going to yarn over, pull up a stitch, yarn over, and pull through 2. And that's your single crochet. And then we're going to chain 1, so yarn over and pull through. All right, and then we're going to skip 1 chain and single crochet in the next chain. So we're going to skip this chain here and then go into the next chain, pull up a stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and chain. And so you're going to continue along that way, skip the next chain and go into the next one, pull up a stitch and single crochet, chain 1. Go all the way across until you get to the same color once more. See you in a moment. All right, we're at the end of row 1 and I've got to the next color and we want to take out a couple of stitches. So rip back 2 to 3 stitches. There's 1 and 2 and I've got this one here. So I'm going to go in and turn my work and chain up 2, 1, 2. And now I'm at my next color change. So we're going to go into this chain 1 space, pull up a stitch, and single crochet. Oops, that was a little loose there. All right, go into that chain 1 space, pull up a stitch, a single crochet, and chain 1. And so we've got that first stitch on here in the next color. You're just going to continue across and keep with this pattern, the single crochet, chain 1 across. I'm going to put down my work for a second. I want to show you something, and this is why you don't have to go up or down a crochet hook or even add a half double crochet instead of a single crochet or something, as you may have seen in other videos. I'm going to count my stitches. So if you were making one with more pattern repeats, and we'll do this on another video for the black watch throw, you can count how many stitches are in your repeat by counting your first row. So I can see my green starts here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we go all the way down until we reach the end. And so say I have like 20 here, or I had 19, maybe even 18, but it's usually going to be this stitch count plus or minus a stitch on the next rows for the stitch count. So if you see your pattern starting green over here and it works all the way to the end, and that's, you know, it's right, starts right in the middle, that's going to be about 10 stitches in there. And when you see a full pattern repeat, you're going to see that 20 across. So it's kind of this magic number. And you're going to keep your stitches very even, and that way you can make sure that your stitches are going to shift over correctly because they are offset. And you see how these V's are offset from one another when we work on them. So when we start having the pattern offset, you'll see that when we work on our next row, you'll start looking from this stitch here, you'll look at the not this row below, but on the row 2 rows down below. I'll show you on the next one. So continue across, making row 2. I'll meet you on that last stitch. Single crochet and chain across. See you soon. All right, we're at the end of this row, and we want to, we're in the chain 1 space here. We need to go into the chain 2 space on the end to complete it. So I'm going to go find where this V stitch is and go into this stitch here, pull up a loop and single crochet, and then we're going to turn and chain up. Now we're beginning round 3, or I'm sorry, we're beginning row 3. So we're going to go into this chain 1 space just as we've done before, which offsets that pattern, and then single crochet and chain up. Now this is where it becomes critical that your pattern starts shifting, and you can see already that I have this green stitch here lined up with this green stitch here, and it's not offset, which if this one was closer to the end and fully green here, I can tell that it will offset my pattern. So what I need to do is go backwards on my row 2, and this is totally common, is to rip it back and get my gauge consistent. I may have gotten a little too tight over here or a little too loose, and so I'm going to have to adjust. So I'm going to show you how to do that, because you will need to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some of these stitches and go back. Okay, I'm going to go back to this purple one, and I'm going to loosen up my gauge here just a little bit because I think I was a little tight. So we're going to go into these stitches and continue. I'm going to let you go ahead and see this in real time. Okay, I'm getting closer to the end. I see I can kind of pull up my stitches and make it a little looser. I'm going to go into this end here and pull up a stitch for single crochet. And now I'm ending with the green here. And so let's go ahead and turn it and chain up 1, 2, and we'll begin in our chain 1 space with the green. Okay, and we pull that up. And now we have the green here and we have the green on the end here. So this should start shifting correctly, right? And you may not know to fix it right at the beginning there. You may notice it when you're halfway down the row and it's not shifting properly. So I'm going to show you how to do that, how to tell. So I'm just going to continue working along. I know you may be slower or faster. Be sure and you're watching this video first before attempting, and use your pause and play controls to slow it, and the speed controls to slow it down or speed it up as you need. So I'm going to continue going across here in this blue, and then we're going to look at it. All right, so I'm coming into the purple here. Let's hold this back and look. So we can see now that my green went across here and stopped about the 4th stitch over here, and then this one is bigger on the bottom. So it's over by 1 here. So we're kind of going back here. So that means my blue is going to be pulled back, and see how the blue is here, and then we've got the blue up above here. So technically this is row 1 and row 3. So it's every other row that you're looking at. And then you go up, you've got blue, blue, blue. So that means my purple should shift over as well. And you've got the purple down here. And if I went straight up and over, this is the stitch that we're on, and this is becoming to be purple. This is kind of between blue and purple here, so it's okay that this is kind of a little fuddled. So or a little muddled. So we'll pull through. You can see a solid purple here, and you can see this one is really more solid here. So it's really shifting. So we're going to continue up and keep going across the purple, and I'll show you how this one shifts. It's easy to get excited and kind of change your gauge when you're first learning this, so just be patient. Okay, so I'm starting to pull through a pink here. So this stitch is still a purple stitch. It's got a little bit of that pink in there. That's okay. And I'm going to come down here and look at it. You can see how this pink here is, it's mostly pink, and there's a little bit of purple, but there's a full purple next to it. And when I come in here, it's going to be a full pink. Okay, and then single crochet. So this imitates more what that's doing. So I'm going to go down in here and pull through my stitch. Now this could be a problem just because it's a little more solid down here. So if you find that you get down and you pull the next row up and it's starting to not shift right, just go back to this row here, and you'll want to make this a little tighter so that the purple kind of moves over just a hair more. And then you're going to be setting yourself up for success later on, because you really want to establish these first rows really well, and then it should be more of a breeze when you go through for the rest of it. Okay, so I'm continuing along, and now I've got my green color going through. Now I think that I'm not shifted over just quite enough, because I see this pink here, but I can't tell what would be the next color. I'm assuming that would be green, which would mean green would be on the edge here and not quite as far over here. So I can actually tell before I move on the next row that I'm a little loose down here, and I know I was right about here. So again, I'm going to go backward. I'm going to pull back and go into this purple and just kind of tighten up a little bit. I'm not really changing my gauge to adjust, but I am, because what happened is I probably got a little loose without thinking about it. I'm going to have to go back a little further. Okay, so we're going to make this a little tighter through here to adjust for that gauge. And that gives me that nice solid purple that was just like this one shifted over. Just making my tension just a little tighter by moving this working yarn. Okay. All right, so get into this last few stitches here. And now I can see that when I go into this last stitch at the end, the chain 2 space and pull up, it's going to have the green that I wanted. And we're going to turn her over and start on row 4. Chain 2. We're going to go into that chain 1 space, pull up a stitch, and we've got our first single crochet and then chain. And so now you can see this this stitch pattern is now shifting over. So we had our green, and then we've got the green on the end here, and then this pattern should start lining up well. And you can test it by going to the end of row 4. So let's finish row 4 and then look back at our work and see what it looks like. You can see my blue is starting to come through. And there's the purple. And if I look down, I see that the purple has not shifted. So 2 rows down, I've got this purple here and this purple here. It needs to be more purple on this side because I'm shifting in this direction with the blue. So let me go back. And I need to be a little looser on this purple, on this blue. I think I was pulling on it a little too hard. So let's just go back. And this is also where you can count your stitches. And my stitch pattern starts here, so we'll count across and have that 20 or whatever number that you had. Go in and make this a little looser. Okay. All right, and then my purple should be appearing in this next stitch here because you can see purple here, and I want the purple to appear in here. And there it is. You see how the color is now shifting over? And this is going to become more of a solid. You can see all these purples on top. So this is going to have more of a triangle shape when we get further on. And you won't be able to see it as it's emerging, but later on when you get past it. So just continue going across the purple area here. And pink should be coming up. And then I can see that the solid pink is coming and it's going to land in the right spot. So see, here's the V for the pink. And then we've got our chain space. And that is now pink. And you see how that's starting to fall into place. You just have to pay attention as you go along the row, especially in the beginning. That's especially important. Let me go into this last area here, and this chain 2 space, and turn, and chain up 2. Okay, and now you can see that when I finish that row, you can see that pink that's here, and it's shifted back over here, 2 rows down, with the color here. So now when I come through, every other row is going to be pink up here, and it's going to be shifting. So this row right here, we're going to be working on green, And that is color shifting in the opposite direction. You can see it's shifting in this direction over here for the green, and then the pink is shifting this direction. So the next row up, you'll see the pink moving over. I'll show you on one of the next parts with a little bit more so you can see what I'm talking about there. So, okay, continue single crochet and chain across the row, just as we've been doing. And I will meet you back up and you will see what this looks like when we get to row 7, and you'll start seeing this pattern emerge, and we'll work on the next steps. See you soon. We're on row 7, and I'm putting it down now because you can see a clear development in where these stitches are going. You can tell that in mine, the blue is going outward this way. It's going to make a V. And then the pink here is going to go inward, and it's going to be upside down, a V. So together they will form this little X, okay, and they'll move like that. So we'll still continue working and repeating row 2 until you reach your desired length. You're going to get to 66 inches to make your scarf. And then we still need to finish off the end and also address this foundation tail, which I'm going to do right now, and then we'll put on the fringe together later. So let's go ahead and fix up this tail here, and then I will see you when you have gotten to your 66 inches. In order to get rid of these beginning foundation stitches, I'm just going to take a tapestry needle and I'm going to work my needle into this first little loop here. So I'm just going to go put that right in there. And I kind of wiggle on a couple of these stitches until I get it. So you can see this one came out, and the rest of that stitch is pulling this one. Now, if you pull the tail, it will make it smaller and smaller until it becomes a slip knot again, which is what you're going to do when you get down to the end here. And then that will finish that off, and then you can weave in your tail in that way. So just continue pulling out these stitches one at a time. And let's see, pull that out like that. And if you've got a really long tail, you can give yourself a little shortcut by coming down here and then pulling it out that way, but you're still going to have to go individually and pop these stitches out. So continue pulling these out, and then we'll weave in this tail together. See you in a moment. I'm going to pull out this last loop here. There we go. And then I'm going to pull on my tail. Oops. And I went a little too far. That's okay. I'm just going to pull on this loose end here and then pull through the tail. And there we go. So that adds that slip knot onto the very beginning like that. And I can cinch that up to make it nice and finished look. And then I want to work in my tail here. So just put that on my tapestry needle. I'm going to come to the back here and start going up through the stitches. Now we do have a color change, so you'll want to work into your stitches with that same color. So it can go around into this V of the stitch here for the single crochet. See how it goes around? And then we're going to go down and through these stitches here. So I'm going to go down here and then through that V. And then that way, that color is really hidden inside itself and no one's really going to see it. And then just pick another spot down here, kind of follow the stitches around and up again through the V. And you're just going to continue going along that way. I kind of pull back so it's not pulled in too much. And when you get to the green, you're going to hop up to the next area of color. And that should be coming up soon. So let's go around the stitch, back up through this V here. Oops. There we go. Okay, so now I should be able to go into this green stitch here, and then I'm going to hop up a row, go through there, and then go up through this stitch. Oops. There we go. And now I'm up on this row and I can work my way back, go underneath the V here, and then all along here. So continue working on yours, and then you just trim the tail when you're ready. I like to go up a few rows so that it's really well hidden. I'm going to come down here and I can come up to the next where all that green is. And then it'll really hide in here a bit better. And then when you're ready, just trim off your tail. All right, so continue working on your scarf until you've got 66 inches and pause your video. I will see you there. So we have repeated row 2 until we've got 66 inches, and we want to finish this off and weave in our tails as I've shown you before, and then we'll put the fringe on to complete your project. We're going to go into that last chain 2 space and make our single crochet, and then yarn over and pull through again. Go ahead and cut your yarn and pull through that tail. And then you're going to stitch that down, weave in with your tapestry needle. And when we come back, we're going to put on the fringe. See you in a moment. Let's add some fringe to our scarf. We're going to measure out 42 lengths of 14 inches and cut them. Now, an easy way to do that is to take an object that's already 7 inches or even 6 inches around, like a piece of cardboard, or this little piece here is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to go around 42 times. So every time I come around the front, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And then when I've wrapped it around, then I'll just take my scissors and cut it and hold on to the end here and then count out my strands. And then I will meet you back up when you're done with that and show you how to add it on. What I did is I separated these all out, and I kind of made sure I had a nice variety of color so that I didn't get something that had just all pink or something. So you can see how it's kind of a variety here. All right, pause your video. I'll see you on the other side to put these on. You're going to bundle up into groups of 3 these cut lengths, and I've got 7 for one side and 7 for the other side. And as you can see, I've already finished this end. Now it has this pretty little knot face on it for the front of my scarf. So if you have a certain side that you want as your front, it doesn't really matter because it is reversible, but you want this side up. So the wrong side is up, and we'll create them this way. And then on the front, they'll all be the same. So I'm going to turn it to the other side. You still want your crochet hook for this, and you'll trim these after you're done. So let's find the middle and do that one first. And we're just going to fold it in half and kind of pinpoint where the middle here is. And I'm going to stick my crochet hook in here. And we've got our lengths folded in half. Okay. And then I want to pull up this loop here where it's folded. We're going to pull it up through this hole, and then yarn over with all of your yarn at the same time, all these ends, and then pull through that loop. All right, pull all the strands, and you can see how it made that little fringe. And you're going to repeat this across here. So I recommend doing the end next, both ends. That's easier. Same way, going to fold it over, insert my hook through this stitch here on the end. Okay, this is just the edge. And then pull up a loop, and then wrap around and pull them through that loop you made all the way through. And go to the other side. Repeat. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. Okay, we're almost done. And then you can see in between these is where we need to put 2 more on each side. So I need 2 more here and 2 more over here. And it's real easy that you can just count your single crochet stitches. I've got 1, 2, 3. And then if I go over 1, 2, 3, it kind of makes them in between. So around 3 stitches in is where I'm going to put them. So I'm going to go 3 stitches over here, and I'm going to go 3 stitches over here, and then they should be about even, and we'll do that on both sides. So see, 1, 2, 3. And yours, if your gauge is different than mine, just make it to where it's kind of spaced evenly. And then now that I've got that one on, I'm going to find the middle here, pull up a loop, and you can see that it'll be even when I get this done here. Okay. So rather than counting to 3 on this one, I just went in between, so that way it's spaced out nicely. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Go grab my set of 3. Make sure my yarn is lined up here. Fold it over. 1, 2, 3. It's about right. Pull it through. And last one. So you're just going to finish this up. The last step is just to trim it off. You want to make sure and trim your ends. You can measure them out. I'm just cutting across here, but trim your ends up and match it on the other side. And you have your scarf complete. I hope you enjoyed making your plaid fringe scarf with the new Premier Everyday Plaid yarn. I know I really did. Be sure and stay tuned for the next video instructions for making the black watch throw with Premier Everyday Plaid. On behalf of Premier and GoodKnitKisses, that's me, we're wishing you happy crochet and plan pooling. Bye everyone.